I'm tired of pushing this freaking sled. Today I want to introduce to you a next generation sled. No longer do we have to worry about noise, damage to your plates, damage to the ground. This sled is made by Armored Fitness and it's called the XPO Trainer Sled. What separates the XPO Trainer Sled from other sleds is that it's on wheels. It becomes pretty apparent very quickly that this isn't your ordinary sled. Now, I've used just about every sled that's on the market, from the Elite FTS Prowler, which is really the original Prowler sled, to the Dog Sled from Rogue, the Dog Sled 1.2. I've used the Torque Fitness Tank, which is similar to this, but has a variation, which I'll detail later on. But the XPO sled is brutal. When I say brutal, it is hard on your CNS. I'm telling you, it doesn't look very difficult because you really only need a small amount of weight on it. And the wheels, you know, how hard can it be to push wheels? But once you get behind it and start pushing it, you realize it very quickly that it's very similar to the Devil's Tricycle. For those of you that know the Devil's Tricycle is the Airdyne, the air bike, the air assault bike, all those different variations. The harder you push the air bike, the harder it is to push it because you've got a fan that's whipping around air. The same is said for the XPO sled. The harder you go on it, the harder it is to push it. The XPO Trainer Sled features two different types of wheels. The ones in the back have a little bit more of a lug pattern and sit a little bit taller than the front wheel. The front wheel is more of a slick wheel, a little bit shorter, and the reason for that is because you want it to basically point down, because all of the resistance comes from the front wheel, none of the resistance on the back. Okay, so the back wheels actually just spin freely. And the reason that you have the weight on there, you may look at it and say, well, there isn't very much weight on there, that can't be too difficult, but the weight's on there purely for traction on the back wheels. Okay, so if you keep lifting off the back, well, that means you need to add more weight. That's really all it's there for. My favorite feature of the XPO sled is the portability that it offers. It's in a small, compact form. This thing is ideal for those of you who have home gyms or garage gyms, okay? Because really, I just throw this up on a wall. I put a hook on a wall, set it up on a wall, take off the posts, and there you have it, okay? That's one of the disadvantages of a similar type of sled, and that is the Torque Fitness Tank. Now, the differences between the Torque Fitness Tank and the XPO sled all derive from two different things. One, the form factor, okay? The tank is a much bigger unit. And two, the resistance, okay? The Torque Fitness Tank has three different variables of resistance plus a neutral resistance. The XPO sled has one, okay? You can't like set it, change it, or anything like that. It's got one setting, and it's not based on magnetic resistance, okay? The actual motor that sits on the front wheel is a resistance motor, and the harder you push it, the more heat comes out. It has a chain attached to the motor. The chain is then attached to the front wheel, and like I said, like the Airdyne, the harder you push it, the harder it is. Now, one of the issues, and I didn't come upon this when I was working out, and I had a couple people work out with me so we could go back and forth and test it. I didn't come upon this, but they do mention this, is that it does have a duty cycle. So you can wear out the motor if you push it too hard. It can get overheat, okay? Now, if you're somebody who's doing intervals by yourself, I don't think that's even possible because you just, you know, get so worn out from pushing it really hard. I mean, I think there's more refinement to be done. For instance, it can't have any rain on it, can't have any water on it. I wish the motor was encapsulated. Like, you know, it's a motor, so I wish it was encapsulated like, you know, the motor in your car, you know, to keep it a little bit protected. Wish the chain was, you know, better protected. The posts, like I said, they're a little bit difficult to pull out and put back. That being said, overall, this sled has blown my mind. I'm serious. This is one of the best sleds out there for training, for home gyms, for garage gyms, for personal training. Personally, if I had a personal training facility, a commercial facility, I was training with large teams, things like that, I'd go for the Torque Fitness Tank just because I like it a little bit better, but for a home gym setting, I think the XPO Sled is a little bit more preferable for that setting. So if you're looking for a little bit different sled that doesn't make as much noise, I'm telling you, this thing is quiet. Listen to it. See what I'm saying? It's very quiet, especially when compared to a traditional sled. You know, it's portable, it's easy to put away, it's easy to get out, it's easy to train with. You can go from, you know, somebody who is a, you know, a sprinter, a male, you know, you could have a, you know, a power lifter on there, and you could go all the way down to somebody, a girl who's never trained before, and go back and forth, okay? It's gonna hurt both of them. But this has been Coop with GARAGEGYMREVIEWS.com. Let me know what you think of the sled in the comment below. We'll see you next time. Keep training.